Good evening, everybody. It's Thursday night here, Born Political. Last week we had a candidate from East Lyme. 2 weeks ago it's been. And this week we're going to do the same. We're going to get to know Kim Kalanjainen. I got the name. I knew I was going to get it. So she's been running for Board of Finance over in East Lyme, but this is Born Political. We talked a little bit off air. We don't know each other, but we're going to get to know each other with you guys in the audience. So Kim, this is Born Political. A lot of times I ask people, where were you born? Are you a homer, or you from far away? Where are you from?
Well, it's a easy question to start out with, so thank you for that. I hail from Western Pennsylvania.
Amish country?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I am. Technically, it's called Newcastle, Pennsylvania. It's about 20 miles from the Ohio border and about an hour north from Pittsburgh.
Okay.
So I hate to say it, but I'm a die-hard Steelers fan. I know this is the territory of the Patriots.
But you're sitting across from a die-hard Dallas Cowboy fan.
Oh my goodness.
So we've had our moments.
We each have had our moments, for sure.
Yeah.
So I do hail from Western Pennsylvania. My dad was in the military, though, so I spent time in Ohio growing up and in Maine. He was in what they called the Strategic Air Command. He worked on the B-52 bombers.
Oh, cool. Served
in Vietnam, so there were only certain military bases, Air Force bases that he would be assigned to. So I'm a military brat, have great respect for our military leadership, all of our veterans, hold them close to my heart. And then when my dad retired from the military, must have been starting 7th grade. So we moved back to Western Pennsylvania, and I graduated high school from there.
Okay, that's cool, because a lot of kids and people that I've had on the show, I'm a military baby, born in Germany.
Oh, wow.
But my dad was out of the military I think I was like 7 or 8 months old. So I just remember being from this area and never anything else. But interviewing people and knowing that the move is usually harder on the family than it is the actual military person serving, that it becomes, most people don't know that, becomes your dad's job was, I work on planes, and no matter where they are, I'm working on planes.
That's right.
And I'm usually working with people that are very similar, or sometimes the same people that move around with them. With the children and the spouse, it's a new job. Where do I go to the doctor? Where do I go to, what school's a good school? What's in a good neighborhood? Where should I live? Those are things that, you were in 7th grade, you said, when you settled back?
I started 7th grade when my dad retired.
But you changed schools a couple times.
Yes.
So that, and the Born Political part of the show, when I told you it's not a hit show, it's not. It really is trying to get to know people who have aspirations to run for the town or already in the town. And I can already tell you that, as a young person, to be able to, because me coaching baseball and seeing kids that are so excited for a season to start, and they got their friends, and all of a sudden 1 or 2 disappear, because they got orders, they're gone, and then all of a sudden there's a new kid. But it has to happen when you're not military. It's part of life. But how did it shape you? You think, being able to, and do you have siblings that you were going town to town with?
No, I was an only child.
Only child?
Yes.
Yeah, my wife has that same syndrome.
It is a problem when you don't have siblings, and you have to figure out how to kind of get through life by yourself.
Yeah.
But I think the military experience for me, it ingrained in me a couple of things. One is a lot of discipline.
Yeah.
And I saw how hard my dad worked and the type of service he committed to, and so I've tried to live my life in that same fashion of service and dedication, and really embracing the work that you do. The other thing that I found fascinating about the military was I loved sports as a kid. I'm a couch potato now, but loved sports as a kid.
Yeah.
Played Little League, baseball, basketball, but because we lived on a military base, the boys and girls played together.
Yeah.
And so that was an experience that most of the youth today probably don't have, that I really cherish, having had that experience and really getting to build my skills to play with the boys, so to speak, was really a great opportunity for me.
So then you go back to hometown, I guess, and now you're in 7th grade, and you had the experience of playing with boys and girls. So did you excel in sports when you got to, or did you just enjoy it, or was?
I did play basketball and softball and did track in high school. So I definitely stayed involved in sports.
Yeah.
But I think the funniest story for my transition from military sports into girls sports in junior high school was I went to softball practice, and I had played Little League.
Yeah.
So it was fast pitch, it was the small ball.
Yeah.
And so I showed up to softball practice and took the field and did a great job throwing and fielding. And when I stepped to the plate to bat, I didn't hit a ball that whole first practice.
Different angle.
The ball was coming in so slow. I was swinging way ahead of it.
Yeah.
And thankfully I had a really nice, kind coach who pulled me aside and he said, I don't want you to swing the bat until you count to, I think it was 5.
5.
So he goes, when the pitcher releases the ball, just count to 5 before you start your swing.
Okay.
And that's all it took. But it was, and I still think about that coach because there are some times when I have to tell myself to slow down.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like, maybe I just need to count to 5.
So when you got back to your hometown, do you have cousins and stuff? Was it
Yeah, I had a few cousins in the area, which
so you went
which
to school
was good.
with, or
Yes.
well, that's good. It does give you. See, my family's different. We're huge. I only had one brother, one sister, but my mother had 9, and nobody
goodness.
left. We were all around here. So you went to school. It's tough to bully someone that has 27 cousins. It's tough to, you get picked up. You're gonna get the help that you need. And my wife being an only child, she, first watching our two kids fight was very difficult because she just said, as an only child, I just always wanted a sibling because of how great and perfect it'd always be.
Yeah.
And it's not that always. Like anyone that has siblings will tell you that. There are arguments, and I wish that everyone could have a brother or sister because it is awesome. I love my brother and sister, but I think there's this fantastical thing in people's heads about how great it is every day, and in the end, it is better. I think. But so now you go through high school, and did you go right to college or right to the workforce?
I did. I went to college. I took the easy way out. And
the easy way out. That was not the easy way out for me, but go ahead.
So my dad had one rule, which was I was not allowed to go to a college in Pennsylvania.
Really?
Yeah. He had the mindset that he, went off and did his military service and was away. And he's like, you need to get out of the house. You need to grow up. You need to become independent. I think I clearly must have been too good of friends with my mom, and he was like, go get grown up.
How far did you travel?
Not too far. I went to Rensselaer Polytechnic Institute, RPI, up in Troy, New York, and had a great 4 years there. Academically, it was a struggle for my first year. I
think most college kids can say that. Not many people roll into college and have it real easy. I don't think. I think it's a shot. Well, you mix in independence with extra work at the same time, and I think it's a balance. Not that I ever had to do that, but I saw and know friends, and I'm like, I was never going to be a college guy. It wasn't going to happen. I always felt like I wanted to work, and
It's not for everyone, and I think there are so many amazing careers and jobs outside of the college track. So I spent 4 years in Troy. I ended up with some amazing friends that I still hold dear, and then took my first job in Connecticut.
How did you pick? What was your major? Or what did you?
I was a math major.
Math major.
Yes.
Yep.
My focus was on probability and statistics and operations research, so I probably can't even do that anymore.
Oh, okay.
Like that part of my brain is, I think, long gone.
And what drove you to that? Was this, or did you go and do a introductory year kind of and then pick, or were you just kind of, there was a job you had kind of thought you wanted to do? And
it wasn't job related, and maybe this will be good for any college students that are out there struggling, but my first semester freshman year I did terrible. I had 4 C's and a D. I was a straight A student in high school, and I did not transition well. I didn't prioritize. I didn't study the way I needed to. I spent time in ways that I was just wasting. So I was really upset with myself because I had always thought I did well in math, but I got a D in math. And so I decided to make that my major. Mm-hmm. And took the long road to recovery to climb out of a very low grade point average my first semester freshman year, but recovered. I think it was over a 3.0 by the time I graduated, and really turned it around.
It's a good recovery.
And I think it was pretty good recovery.
3.0, that's very respectable. So then, so you get through college, graduate, and then now obviously, and everyone goes through this. Is that you're expected to now all of a sudden fit in somewhere and have this job. And what was that? Did that happen for you right away, or did you?
It did. I was really fortunate because I came out of college in 1990, so everyone can probably do the math to tell how old I am. 57 for those that don't have a calculator, but
see, you are still good at math.
That one I kind of knew by heart, but I was fortunate. I really was very fortunate. RPI did a great job bringing companies on campus.
Yeah.
I had the opportunity to have several interviews. I received an offer from what used to be called Anderson Consulting. They're Accenture now. They're like a big Fortune 500 consulting firm. And I started there right out of college as a computer programmer. Because I was a math major, I had taken a lot of computer programming classes. And so I stayed and kind of worked my way up in that organization between Accenture and the old Arthur Andersen, which doesn't exist anymore. So I went from computer programming into more of general IT consulting.
Yep.
For the first 10 years of my career, I was kind of happily in that company, kind of moving up the corporate ladder. And then I had to make the decision of whether to stay and pursue the partner track or if I should exit and go do something different. And I decided to exit and go do something different.
So going from IT, and just so you know that the IT part of work is very difficult for most people that still have to have a 5 starting with their age. I'm 54. There's a lot, and it's one of those things that I think transcends into any other trade. So when I think of young college kids thinking of stuff, I'm like, if you can, even the security now, NIST, and all these things that we have to deal with, if you can get that established, you can be part of a lot of different things in your life if you have those skills. So you made a decision. Like, most people don't have to make that decision. You just felt like, am I really going to commit, and this is what I want to do for the rest of my life? And everyone comes to that crossroads sometimes, right?
Yes.
So you came to the crossroads and said, I want to do IT for the rest of my career and do the thing, or
something different.
And what'd you pick?
So I had the fortune when I was doing the IT consulting work that I was able to work in different industries. And I fell in love with healthcare. And I fell in love with it largely because it was the most complicated industry. It was hard to figure out, hard to understand, because it isn't as simple as you produce a product and get paid for the product. It just has added layers of complexity. Yep. And I was kind of drawn to that. And so I had the opportunity to move to Vermont and work at a hospital in Vermont as their chief information officer, kind of the head of the IT department in the hospital. And so that was my first foray into the nonprofit world. And I stayed up in Vermont for about 6 years, working as the CIO there, and then had an awesome opportunity to move back to Connecticut and work at Lawrence Memorial Hospital in that same capacity.
Well, my wife was probably there the same time you were. She did about 20 years.
Oh,
she was in the ultrasound, high-risk ultrasound IB department.
Yeah. I bet we were.
Yeah.
So I was there. I was at L&M for 13 years, from 2006 to sometime in 2019.
Yep. You guys definitely
were there
had
at the
mostly
same
crossed
time?
mostly the same time.
Yeah.
A large part. I think she started in maybe 1991.
Yeah.
Not 91, God, 97 or 8 or something like that.
97, yeah.
I forget. But
So
she
we
went
probably
20
crossed
years.
paths multiple
You definitely
times.
did. You definitely did. And so when you that path in the road was really more like the industry you were going to serve, but the same type of work.
Yeah, although I would say the world of consulting was a little bit cushier compared to the world of working in a hospital when you have 24/7 responsibility.
I don't think there's any job that anyone refers to as cushy in a hospital.
No,
Like
definitely not in a
I don't care
hospital.
if you're the person that's cooking in the cafeteria or the person that's running it. You're under usually a microscope. I think more than
Yes.
most industries.
For sure.
I think again, if you're in consultant industry and you're a CEO, your name's not in the paper when someone
That's right.
got bad service.
That's right.
in
for
the
sure.
emergency room. So
Yeah.
there's that part of it. So you and when you said that it's complicated, there was nothing more hard to understand, and I was on the insurance committee when I was a legislator, than healthcare.
Oh, it is.
And the things that sound like the best idea in the world that create this domino effect of multiple indifferent, very bad outcomes if you change one thing. And I think that's what you're getting at. Like
Yes.
hey, let's just do this. And just this means that somebody else is going to suffer greatly. Or
Yes.
Yeah.
It is by far the most complex industry.
Yeah.
I just can't imagine that there's anything more complex than
My
healthcare.
two committees that I struggled with the worst was healthcare, which again, the obvious ones are you just help people, right?
Yeah.
Help care. If you could do something like that, and that's not how it works. Everything has to get paid for.
That's right.
There's dollars and cents that are connected to all that stuff, and we get that. But energy was it.
Oh yeah, that's a pretty good
It
one.
absolutely is mind-boggling how all that works, and
The grid.
yeah, and being on the energy committee, it takes a lot of studying. So you have all this experience. Now you left the hospital at some point because
I left in 2019.
2019?
It was a great experience at L&M when I think back at it. I had the opportunity to implement kind of their first comprehensive electronic medical record.
Azure. Oh no, that was Epic.
It was before that. It was I think it was the McKesson platform.
Okay.
It was before Epic, before when L&M was by itself as a standalone community hospital. I was part of the team led by Bruce Cummings. We did the Westerly acquisition when Westerly was in receivership, and we were able to turn that organization around. And then also part of the team that worked on the merger with Yale New Haven, and stayed a couple years after that acquisition was completed and Bruce retired. But after a couple years, I just felt like I needed to leave because it wasn't the same team, the same culture.
I think
it was
that
different.
happens.
It was different, and it was to be expected to be different. But I definitely hung in there for as long as I could, and I look back on those 13 years at L&M, and I'm incredibly grateful to have been able to work with all the amazing people there. Just amazing.
And being even part of that many changes. I mean, I don't know how many going from even Epic to they're at Epic now, I think, but whenever there's a change, to know the panic, the absolute panic. Like I watched my wife go through it. I watched her friends go through it. Like they're like, oh my God, the system is either horrible or great, or maybe it's going to be easier, maybe it's not. Am I going to be able to still work here? Is this going to be too much for me? Like, and we just get the stuff on our phone saying, oh wow, this is so hard. I should be able to find my blood pressure easier than this on my phone, and I think people don't understand what it took to get there.
For sure.
Yeah, and I'm not a computer guy, but I see the backside of it now. You know, even welding and building things for EB now has turned into this great amount of computer effort that has to happen behind it, with bidding software, with actual POs and everything that goes along with it.
Yeah.
It's just not that easy. So I can imagine when you worked in a big hospital like that, in a big ecosystem, that when they talk about changing and moving on to a new thing, like that must just be like, okay. But that's probably the challenge that drew you to it, I guess.
Yeah.
Those challenges get to be bigger mountains, I think, when you
For sure.
when you're doing it. I'm in that mode right now where I'm like, I just want to walk away from all this stuff. I want to do something different and fun.
Yeah.
So to date now, where did we miss a job in between?
I did go to St. Mary's Hospital after L&M. I kind of altered my career a little bit at L&M and had more operations responsibility. So when I left L&M, I went to St. Mary's as their vice president of operations. And I was there through COVID.
Tough time.
Super tough time. The Waterbury community was, I think, one of the hardest hit cities in the state of Connecticut. So we made it through those couple of years, and through some changes with the president, Steve Schneider, retiring there. I ended up leading the hospital for a period of time, probably about 3 years in total.
Leading as
first it was as the chief administrative officer, and then most recently, before I left, as the president.
Wow.
So that was a really amazing experience. St. Mary's Hospital and the people there, top notch all the way.
Yeah.
Felt like a big, huge family to be involved with for 5.5 years. Utmost respect for those all those folks that serve at St. Mary's Hospital and take care of the Waterbury community. And it's going through, so many tough times now because of Waterbury Hospital being in bankruptcy and all of the things happening there. But
and the only reason I want to stop is because there's a couple things going on with you that we want to make sure we talk about.
Sure, yeah.
And it's only a half-hour show, and I could talk to you for a very long time. I mean, it's fascinating, really. And the point of the show is to make folks that are going to be going into the ballot box, in November, know who they're dealing with. And I think most people will not have the kind of, if they get this half hour to watch and hear what you're saying and talking about, they're going to get a really good idea of where you came up with your thinking. And because, just in the industry you were in, maybe even being a military child, like they're going to be able to connect with you in ways that I think we should all, when we go in that ballot box, we should know who's on that. And that brings us to, actually, I want to talk quickly about where you work now, because the work you're doing now, I think, is, to me, one of an agency that we know locally, but Child and Family and you're in the London office, I take it?
Yeah, I work, we have multiple locations in Southeastern Connecticut, but kind of the home base is in New London, but Child and Family Agency of Southeastern Connecticut. I would say largely a mental health provider, obviously for children and their families. I serve as the Chief Operating Officer there, started there in July, so still on my steep learning curve.
Yep.
But phenomenal organization, so honored to be working with the team there. We provide a lot of in-home therapy for children and families, school-based clinics.
Yep.
We have a couple of early child development centers, and we have our outpatient therapies.
And I'm going to bring you on the show again to talk specifically, I think, about Child and Family and the services it offers, because I think it's definitely its own half-hour show. And I've had a little bit of dealing with them, but you're running for Board of Finance in East Lyme, and I would think that if you're out there watching right now, that you're going to be very excited to vote for this candidate. But what made you, again? You've done a lot, you've seen a lot, and what makes you what pushed you to want to do this? Because putting your name on the ballot is not easy these days.
Yeah.
And I appreciate anyone who does it in any town. But what drove you?
Well, I've been involved with the town of East Lyme for quite a while. I think we're coming up on 20 years living in East Lyme. I've served on a couple of different committees in town. So I started with an appointment to inland wetlands.
Yeah.
And really knew nothing and had a very steep learning curve there. But the town officials are great. Gary Gaishel runs that and does a great job. Then I was asked to run for zoning and was successful in that.
You guys have a little bit of zoning going on in East Lyme these days, huh?
There is a lot of zoning. And you know, I should probably just pause here quickly because the residents of East Lyme, if you've been around East Lyme for 20 years or more, like I've been, our town is beautiful.
It is.
Our zoning officials and the zoning commission, they've worked so hard to really put in place the rules and regs that allow our business owners to invest in their properties and storefronts and to have like some beautification standards.
Yep.
Like I drive through a lot of different places in Connecticut, and I'm always proud of how East Lyme shows
great.
up and looks. So I did a term on zoning, and I did. I'm just wrapping up a term on Board of Assessment Appeals.
And we have 2 minutes.
2
left.
minutes, okay. So important thing, I did all of that for the town of East Lyme as a Republican.
Yep.
I am a crossover. Now I am running on the Democratic ticket
Okay.
for Board of Finance.
Yep.
And my real big hope in the 2 minutes I have left is to really put a plug in for focus on our schools and our school budget, which is, I will say, the large majority of our East Lyme town budget
That's
is
in every town.
dedicated to our schools. And we need some TLC around the budgeting process. We need more engagement and activity with our schools and with the Board of Finance, so it doesn't have to be a late night event every year to pass the school budget. And
Good luck with that.
I know, but there's got to be a better way. I have 2 kids that have been through or are going through the East Lyme school system. It's a terrific school system. I have great respect for our educators. Very proud of it, but I think we need to find a better way.
And I believe we will with folks like you running. I'm excited. I hope out in East Lyme that you got a chance to watch this. You will be back on the show, definitely for the child and family part of it.
I would love that.
And we're going to get a little bit more time to talk about that. But this is our time. Make sure you guys are voting in November. Make sure you check out everybody on the ticket. If you're in East Lyme, go out and vote. It's getting close. Thank you for being on the show.
Happy
It was a
to.
great show. I really appreciate you coming out.
Thank you. So nice meeting you.
Yep, you too. All right, guys. We'll see you next week.